What's up, everybody? DMH, back for the first video of the new year, and this is on initial inks for blaster and tapes. So I wanted to do this to have like to counterbalance the sound wave one if people got that, just to provide the option. So I kind of wanted them to kind of mirror one another. So blaster's facing one way and Soundwave's facing the other way, and the guy in the boat's like, "What do you want from me?" That's a Goodfellas reference. Anyway, I just wanted to show kind of like how the templates, how painstaking it is, to get these lines. Kind of laid down. It's extremely tedious, and part of the problem is the pencils and how messy the pencils can be, and then finding the right line within the mess of all the pencils. And then at the end of the video, I have like a finished piece of just inks and detail inks without the heavy blacks. You see, I'm kind of erasing as I go, because if I get stuff really late in, then I can erase and still kind of follow some of the darker lines. It's an odd way to hold a pen. It's kind of weird watching some of this. So I'm really looking forward to finishing this. I just gotta get motivated after Christmas and birthday and New Year's and all that kind of stuff. I just kind of gotta get back in the swing of things. But I think it's shaping up well. If you can see, I wasn't quite clear on, like, you'll see in this, I don't ink everything. If I'm still not 100% on stuff, like his thumb there, I just erased it. If I'm still not 100% on it, I'll just delete it, erase it out, and then start again later, as long as it doesn't affect something else. But I knew that thumb was off, and I needed to go back and work on it, so I ended up fixing it later. So a lot of times, like, I don't know if you can see, but if I'm doing all the vertical lines, I'll take a template and work from left to right and just knock all the lines in one direction out, and then I'll go back in the other direction and then knock all the horizontal ones out, and etc., etc. It's extremely time consuming. But you get a really straight line. Now, unfortunately, that just the pressure that I put on the pen isn't always the same, and the flow of ink isn't always the same, and imperfections in the paper aren't always going to be the same, so the lines are rarely even. So even though they're straight, they're not even. The ink flow's not even. So when I go into Photoshop and I black and white it, I end up having to spend, usually a day or two just tightening lines and straightening them and blackening them, and it's quite a process, but the end result, pays for itself. So I just have to keep reminding myself of that. It's my dog. This is Slam Dance, and I kind of threw them in because Blaster's tapes aren't as plentiful as Sound Waves, and my daughter and some of the people in the quote-unquote community, and I use the term extremely loosely, were a bit disappointed that I didn't have Squawk Talk and Beast Box in the Soundwave one, so I wanted to make sure I put him in this one. The Soundwave one was just already so busy, I don't know, maybe it was a poor choice, I'm not sure, but I've got Slam Dance in this one, and I've never drawn him. I'm not even that familiar with him. I had him as a kid, but I always thought he looked goofy as hell, and rarely played with him. I would play with Squawk Talk and Beast Box, but they were usually I never combined them because the torso is just so ridiculous. think his hands eat me up a little bit, so I leave some of his hands till later. I can't remember. And his head, there's not like the IDW has done a design on his head, and then there's been some fan art, and then there's been the toy, and I kind of try to use elements of all of those that I liked to kind of pick a head that I went with. And I don't know, but it's I think it represents what I like about the character, or the design. But we'll see. You never know till you put it out there. Ram horn. Now, I just did a Rhino in the Predacon piece I just did, which was my last Transformer piece, and I was a little rhinoed out. But the trick was to make it look a little bit different than Headstrong, which was in the last one, and to kind of give it its own identity. And pose and so forth. So I kind of did like the mirror image of Headstrong, just in case, like somebody, like there's a few people out there that have kind of collected all my Transformer stuff, and I'm extremely appreciative. But with them in mind, I wanted to have like a couple little Easter eggs, so they're kind of mirroring each other, and they don't look identical, and all that kind of stuff. See, it gets tricky there because I've had to erase so much, and then I got eject. My dog is killing me right now. Eject over there, and now with eject, what I ended up doing was I used more of a G1 cartoon face for him, and with Rewind I used more of the IDW, because I kind of feel like Rewind has taken a life of his own in IDW, and I wanted to definitely pay homage to that. With eject though, it's kind of a combination between the toy and the cartoon and the comic, but it definitely, like, he has individual eyes, and the line going down the center of the thing. I don't know if I did it here because it was an afterthought, but it definitely will be in the finished version. And then this is Rewind here. Made sure to add his little camera on his side of his face and all that kind of stuff, just because it was a tip of the hat to the guys that read IDW. I love IDW stuff. I think it's the leading creative force within the genre right now, because the cartoons don't quite get it right, and a lot of the toys don't quite get it right, and the movies certainly don't get it right. But IDW gets it. That's for sure. But then, just for good measure, like I have his G1 guns. Like I have like G1 guns on eject, and they're behind him, like plugged in, and then I have the G1 guns kind of in Rewind's hand, just to kind of make them look a little different, a little bit, more interesting between the two. And then as I get these foreground characters locked down, then I can go back and get the background legs of Blaster and so forth in there. There's a lot of perspective changes on Rewind, and I try to nail it, but there's a ton of mistakes. I've definitely got my $3 worth out of my whiteout pen this go round. So then I start working with Steeljaw. Steeljaw is actually my favorite tape, or he was as a kid. I guess Rewind kind of is now, but he was as a kid, and I felt bad I wasn't able to get him kind of more in the center stage of things. But I have him kind of like gnawing on Rewind's like blaster barrel, So he's kind of got like the most interesting, bit of business going on within the piece. So that's kind of my tip of the hat to him. And unfortunately, there's just not much of him. But I think he kind of steals the show once you realize what's going on. And that's the picture of the finished detailings. Won't be long now. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.